weather resistance, right? Weather resistance or water resistance or humid resistance, actually humid resistance or groundwater resistance, groundwater resistance. Now let's talk about water resistance in case of rain. So in case of rain, water can easily penetrate through the brick and through the mortar. Generally, it can easily penetrate through the mortar rather than the brick, right? We discussed in the structural part also that we generally use weak mortar than the brick, and but because that is very porous material, the mortar, cement mortar I am talking about, the water can easily pass. But the water can easily evaporate also in case the weather is good. Firstly, we have heavy rain. Because of the rain, water can easily penetrate through the mortar rather than the brick. And in case of when the rain stops, the water can easily evaporate from the mortar because that is very porous material. We have layer of brick, right? The English bond we discussed, and we have mortar one, right? So in case of rain, water can easily penetrate through this mortar joint, mortar bed, because that is very porous. So how to prevent this kind of penetration of rainwater? So because of more rapid penetration through this mortar joint, we can do pointing. Pointing हमने discuss करा था. So pointing is very efficient. We can do pointing over here. So generally more cementitious material we used to do for pointing. So water can be controlled. So we also discussed various type of pointing. The simple plus pointing will perform well in case of heavy rain. Cavity wall also perform very well in case of this weather resistance also. Actually cavity wall perform very good in thermal insulation part, sound insulation also, weather resistance also, but it take little bit more space. Any horizontal soffit that we have, for example we had lintel or any projection over lintel, we can do throating on. So that we also discuss किया था. So later on we can discuss whenever it will be required how much this dimension should be, how much this should be, so that water will not easily go through this wall. So this is brick mold. When we do plaster over here, so this should be porous, less cementitious, or this should be very impervious material or more cement we should. Suppose we are using cement sand. So what do you think? Which is better? Using porous material, porous cement mortar, or we should use more cementitious material? 1:4, 1:6, 1:7. So what do you think? Porous rendering will perform better than the impervious or dense rendering, because in porous material water can easily penetrate, right? But in case of good weather, and suppose rain stops, it can easily evaporate. But if you are using dense material, dense cementitious material, or cement content is more, then obviously penetration will be less, but the more problem will be, the evaporation will be very, very difficult. So in that case, crack may happen. You may see the crack over here. So it will be better to use less cementitious material, porous material over here, if it is exposed to outside, whether you are expecting a lot of rain. It's better to use porous thing, because in case of impervious material or more cementitious material, it will prevent from entering the rain also, but there will be some penetration obviously. But the problem will be, the evaporation will be very, very difficult. So it's better to use porous material. Porous material is less liable to crack, and also it will not trap the water inside. So it's better to use porous material. Another problem would be if you are using not very porous material, you can see the dampness over here because of the rising ground moisture or delicate salt. है ना? So it's always better to use little bit porous material over the wall. Nowadays we have seen after plaster we also use POP and other soft material to look good, but think about it. So we'll not discuss in detail because again in third year you will study the plaster, paint, texture of wall or etc. etc. Another problem is condensation. So generally this is prevalent in colder region when temperature is very low. है ना? In most of the region in India we don't have problem of this condensation, but in colder region we may have this problem of condensation. Condensation can be identified in terms of drop of water or moisture in the wall or in the ceiling or any other building component, right? So this is different from this rainwater penetration or from the groundwater regime. So there are various reasons of condensation, but it happens mostly because of the delicate salt or saline material which are present in the mortar. So it attracts the moisture. Less temperature, so we will not discuss in detail again.